I think it's good. I think it's good for appraisers, small business people, to sit back every once in a while and say, okay, where am I? Where have I been? Most importantly, where am I going?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome to the program. Feeling a little bit sentimental today, so sit back, relax. I'm going to wax on philosophical, as they say. I want to remind you we are sponsored by Anow Software. Anow is the software that I use to manage my office. It's how I keep in touch with every aspect of what is going on in my office. You should be too. Go to anow.com/coach for more information. Again, it's anow.com/coach. Well, a couple of different things going on in my life right now, and they are all kind of culminating to a head and allowing me to kind of step back and reevaluate just a bit. I guess I'm having a bit of a midlife crisis, as they say. Not really a crisis, but just a midlife step back. Where am I? Where have I been? Where am I going? Moment in my life, and I guess it's more than one moment. It's kind of a constant thing that I'm when I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm kind of stepping back a little bit here. I'm in my mid 40s. I have 4 children, and there's kind of a gap between the first 2 and the second 2, and so my daughter and son are both leaving the nest. My daughter has been at school for the last 3 years. When I say at school, I mean at college. But she has decided to go to a college that's close to home and live at home. So even though she's been in college, she's kind of been around. She, as you parents of college students know, even if they're living at home, they're not really at home. She's got a lot going on, but nonetheless, it's, she and I interact quite often, but she will be moving away probably in the next 6 months or so. So I've got that going on. My son, who is 18, has decided he wants to serve a mission for Jesus. So he's serving a church mission, and he, as of this recording, leaves in 2 days and will be gone for a couple of years. So that is happening in my life. And, last Thursday I had my 25th high school reunion. I know you more experienced individuals, you more experienced listeners are saying, 25, geez, you're just young. You're just a young buck, Dustin. Well, maybe. But to me, it's interesting looking back on the last 25 years and how my life has changed. But at that reunion, had an opportunity. It wasn't big. I mean, I think 50 people showed up, maybe. That included spouses. But it was fun. It was fun to catch up. I don't know if I would have gone again, given the circumstances, simply because I'm not a social creature. I know that surprises a lot of people because I sit on this microphone and talk to people, but I really am not. And especially situations like that. I can be very social one-on-one. And there's some quote unquote parties, social events that I don't mind. But those types of situations where you get together with a lot of people and talk about very surface things, how's the weather type things, or what are you doing for a living? It's just not my cup of tea. But nonetheless, I digress. Going to that reunion and watching what everyone else has done with their life in the last 25 years was, I'm not going to say eye-opening for me, but it was interesting for me. It was interesting to see where most people landed. Not a lot of huge surprises, some, but not a lot. Most individuals that I knew in high school, I knew them pretty well then, and I know them pretty well now. And a lot of their career choices were not earth-shattering, were not groundbreaking. And but it was interesting because, in those types of situations, you kind of, flip from one conversation to another. And most of the time I was with my wife. She went to high school with me. We are high school sweethearts. We met and fell in love in high school and got married and still married. And so that was fun. We got one of the awards. There were 5 couples that actually married other graduates of the same graduating class. And so that was kind of fun. They asked me what my secret to to success was in marriage. You know, it's interesting. All 5 couples that married spouses that graduated the same year, they're still married. All 5 of them. So that was kind of interesting. Now, one of them married about a week ago. I'm not kidding. So we're at the 25th anniversary, and there was a couple there that they had both recently divorced. I know at least one recently. The man had recently divorced. I'm not sure about her, but they had both married each other about a week previous to their high school reunion. So how crazy is that? Anyway, one of the things they asked me at that reunion was, what is my secret to success in marriage? And, I was pretty real. I said, marriage sucks sometimes. It's hard. It is hard. I don't know if I use the word sucks, but I said marriage is hard sometimes. It really is. And I said, people change, and they change big time. And I've changed big time over 25 years. And I'm not the same person that Cammie married. And she's not the same person that I married. And you have to decide to do the hard work to make it work. You really do. And it's not fantasy land like I thought it was. I really honestly thought that our marriage would be different. I really did. I saw a lot of couples around me, and I thought, it's going to be interesting to see if they make it. But we're going to make it. And I was absolutely confident that I would. There was no doubt in my mind that we would make it. And we have so far. But I'll tell you, I really thought that it was a Cinderella story, my wife and I. And man, it's been hard. It's been rough. It's really, really been rough. And I understand why people get out and they move on. And you just have to decide to push through and make it work. Anyway, I digress once. I told you I was going to wax on philosophically today. But the point of today's show was, with all of these events going on in my life, I've had an opportunity, and I call it an opportunity on purpose, to sit back and ask myself, Dustin, where are you? Where have you been? And most importantly, where are you going? I want to answer those 3 questions when we come back from the break, but I first want to remind you that we are sponsored today, of course, by Anow Software. Here's the thing that I get asked a lot about Anow Software. Well, Dustin, I've got my spreadsheet. I've got my way of doing things, and I love the analytics side of things, and I love what you can do with Anow Software, but there's always a big but, right? But what about all of the stuff that I already have worked on for years and years? What happens to that? Well, guess what, folks? You switch over to Anow Software, and they will import all of your data into Anow. So you can have analytics going back for years and years and years. They will import your data. They will import all of the appraisals that you've already done in whatever spreadsheet program you have already been. Well, maybe if it's handwritten, probably not. Okay. But others they can import. If you're using Excel, if you're using Google Sheets or something similar, they are going to be able to import that information into your new Anow system, and you'll be able to start using analytics immediately. Folks, analytics in Anow is where it is at. If you want to know what's going on with your business at any moment, Anow Software. It's anow.com/coach. One more time, anow.com/coach. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Got a lot going on in my life right now, and I just wanted to do a quick mini-sode and just let you know that I think it's good. I think it's good for appraisers, small business people, to sit back every once in a while and say, okay, where am I? Where have I been? Most importantly, where am I going? And I really started thinking about this hard lately because I've got 2 kids leaving the nest. I've got 2 others that are 13 and 10, so it'll be a while for them. But my 2 older kids are leaving the nest. Things are changing at the Harris household. I went to my 25th high school reunion this last week and saw a lot of old friends and just caught up with them on their career path and just just talking to them about life in general and their kids, and they all struggle with their kids like we struggle with our kids. And I'll tell you, it was I probably wouldn't do it again because I just don't like social activities like that. But I'm glad I went. I really am, because it allowed me to sit back. And since then, I've had a lot of time to really contemplate what I'm doing. Here I am appraising, being the appraiser coach. And of course, there's a lot of other things going on in my life. But as far as professionally, those are really the two focuses that I have right now. And I think it's good every once in a while to sit back and say, hey, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing? I mean, let's face it, the appraisal industry is changing. It is. And I'm often asked, Dustin, is the appraiser as we know them going to be around in 3 years? And the answer to that is so obvious to me. Absolutely not. The appraiser, as you know him or her right now, is not going to be around into the future. Just is not, because things are changing with technology and some of our clients and some of the desires that they want. Things are pushed in a different direction. And I'm absolutely convinced that the appraiser, to survive, is going to have to change. To survive, we're going to have to, our business is going to look differently than it is. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea for sure what that looks like, but I have a few inklings on how things are changing. And we as appraisers need to decide. Do we switch our business model? Do we keep doing what we've always been doing? Things are changing, but the point of today is not to talk so much about change, is to talk about, again, philosophically, Dustin, where have you been? Why are you here? Where are you going? Those three questions have been on my mind lately a lot. And I'll tell you, in order to answer the last question, where are you going, you really have to answer the first two. And the bottom line is I fell into appraising. Those of you who know my story, and I tell the whole story in the Go Create Some Value workshop, because it really sets the foundation on why I appraise. I fell into this, folks. This was not a quote unquote choice I made from the time I was small. In fact, quite the opposite. I absolutely vowed that I would never go into real estate. And on my mother's grave, she's still alive, I promised I would never, ever, ever go into appraising. I just would not do it. And here I am. And there's reasons for that. But I'll tell you, folks, some of the reasons I think paint the picture of where I am going in my life as well. So let's talk briefly about that, and then I'll cut you loose for today. I really got into appraising because I did not want to do anything else. I know that sounds silly, but stay with me. I got into appraising because the little town that I was going to school at, going to college at, had basically minimum wage jobs available, and they were not fun jobs. They were. I mean, I had an opportunity to work on an assembly line making treadmills, putting a nut on a bolt all day long for minimum wage. Yeah, I decided to be my own boss, and bigger than that. It wasn't just an escape for me. As I got into it and started appraising, I realized the joy of entrepreneurship. I realized what I could do with this thing. And it was about the time that I could spend with my family and my friends and just doing the things that I love. And it was about making money, and it was about serving others. And it was about so many things that you hear people talk about, but a lot of people don't really have the opportunities that I have had as a self-employed businessman. And it's been a journey, folks. It's been a journey. I love teaching, and I got into coaching and mentoring others a few years ago, and I love doing that. That's absolutely my first love, and I'm probably doing more of that now than I am appraising. That scale has flipped. And that's cool, because that's really where my love is. I do really enjoy appraising, but I love teaching. And that's where I'm at right now. But the question is, where am I going? Well, I'll tell you, again, with the changes that are happening in the appraisal industry, I've had to step back and ask myself, where do I want to be? And folks, I've decided this is where I want to be. I love appraising. I love coaching. I love teaching. And there's going to be a need for coaching and teaching as we move into this world that is much different than what we have come to know as appraisers. And so there's going to be a need for mentors and coaches and guiding people through the rough waters that are ahead of us. But I'll tell you, folks, I love what I do. I love being self-employed. I love appraising. And even if it's going to look different in the future than it looks now, it helps me to put first things first, okay, to steal a Covey line. But here's where I want to land today. With all of the changes that are happening in my life, I've really asked myself, what is it all about? Okay, so here it is. This is the big mic drop. What's it all about? I can answer that in one word. I really can. To me, to Dustin Harris, today, what it's all about, whether we're talking about appraising, whether we're talking about my business, whether we're talking about life in general, it's all about one thing for me. It's about relationships. That's it. It's about the relationship I have with my wife. It's about the relationship I have with my daughter. It's about the relationship I have with my 3 sons. It's about the relationship that I have with extended family. It's about relationship that I have with neighbors. I'll just pause here and say, yesterday we had a little get together to celebrate my son leaving on his church mission. And we had 100 people, nearly 100 people in our home in about a 3-hour time span. And I mean, it was overwhelming. It was crazy. I had to retire to my bedroom at one point and just, take a couple deep breaths. I mean, it was noisy. It was fun. It was exciting, but it was amazing to see the support for him and for our family. And, it just made me think, what is it all about? And this is what it's all about. Friends, family, mentors, great people that I've had an opportunity to rub shoulders with. And it's about you. It's about you, the listener. It's about my all-star team, the Appraiser Academy, especially the Dream Team. Every month I have an opportunity to travel and to meet one-on-one with great people, great appraisers who really care about the future of appraising, who really care about their businesses. It's awesome, folks. I'll tell you, we live in an awesome time, and there are some cool things happening in the appraisal profession, and there's going to be some changes, and we need to make some changes. And what that means for you and your business is up to you. But I can't wait to be there to help guide and direct and love and teach and associate with and learn from you. Thank you for being a part of the All-Star team. For those of you who are, and the Appraiser Academy and the Dream Team, but thank you for just listening to this free podcast. I hope it's beneficial to you. I really do. This is 4 years we've been doing this, a little over 4 years, and we've got hundreds of episodes and literally hundreds of thousands of downloads, 500,000 plus at this point of people listening to this program, and it's awesome. It truly is awesome. And life is awesome, folks. If you have not recently taken the time to sit back and ask yourself where you've been, why you're here, where you're going, please do so. I think it's so crucial that we have vision of where we're going to go if we're going to be successful. And I am just grateful to be a part of it. So, folks, I talked a little bit about the Dream Team. I hope you'll consider being a part of the Dream Team, especially as we move into the future, especially as we navigate these choppy waters that are ahead of us, folks. To be a part of a small, and it is small, less than 50 people nationwide, and your Dream Team, whichever group you join, will have less than 9 people in it. Usually about between 5 and 7 show up, myself included, every quarter to sit down and really hash out what's going on with your business. It is an awesome experience. If you're interested in just trying it out, you want to know what it's all about, and you want to be a part of one Dream Team, I will invite you. Everyone is invited one time on me, free of charge. I'll even buy you lunch. Now, you need to get there, okay? But Vegas, Dallas, Salt Lake, Chicago, and D.C. Would love to have you at an upcoming event so that you can check it out, try it out, and see if it's for you. Reach out to my assistant. Her name is Lee, and her email address is theassistant@theappraiser.com. theappraisercoach.com, the assistant at theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.